Warning, you are about to enter the BGP suite. No thongs, no boy shorts, no thigh highs, no commandos are permissible. BGP, big girl panties only. So pull up to woman up. And no, please don't leave with your panties in a bunch.
Hello, and welcome to BGP. I want to share a story with you that I'm sure a lot of you have heard about, and a lot of us can probably relate to at least this part of it is having your first child. It's an exciting thing that comes about, and everybody's excited to see this bundle of joy come into the world. Well, unfortunately for Jessica Ross and Treveon Isaiah, um, when it was time for them to deliver their baby, they experienced some tragic situation that occurred. The doctor, Dr. St. Jillian, who was the doctor at this particular hospital in Georgia, um, once the baby was coming into the birth canal, and the head of the baby was exposed, she began to use some pressure. Now, keep in mind they had been in labor for quite some time, but still she hadn't called to go ahead and have a cesarean or do any type of surgical procedure to help this baby to come on through or come out. She used some force, excessive force, as it was said in the story, and the baby's head was delivered vaginally, and then they had to deliver the rest of the body via C-section. The hospital began to do some covering up, according to the story I read, that they were against letting them do an autopsy. These parents, Jessica and Treveon, did not even know that the baby had been decapitated initially. They didn't even find out that until the baby was at the funeral home, because they bought the baby to them already wrapped up and with the head just sitting on top of it. It's just some sick, horrific things that happened. I can't even imagine. This is your first baby. There's pictures of them all over social media but prior to them going into labor, she was showing her little baby bump and how excited they were about having this baby. I just can't even imagine the hurt. Um, this was a doctor that there was not a lot that was said about the doctor, simply because they said they couldn't speak a lot on it, but they said that the doctor wasn't even an employee of the hospital. So for you ladies, I don't even know where to begin with this. Just what would you do as a parent, as a mother, if you heard this horrific news, and what would be your course of action to? It's just so sad.
I don't know. I put myself in the mindset of when I remember when we had the baby shower, right? I remember when everybody was on standby, like, is it time? Are you in labor? Is it time? And then it finally you got the green light, like it's time. Water broke.
Yeah.
We all hadn't let's go. And
Exactly.
it was like literally about 15 of us that showed up to the hospital. All like,
Excited.
I'm with her. And so you go in there to deliver a healthy baby and you walk out with no baby, you know? And I mean that breaks my heart because according to them, according to the initial reports, they told her that, she had lost the baby and they put the baby's body together to hold up so she could at least see the baby. So she at that time did not know that the baby's head was not a part to the, attached to the body. And they basically tried to cover it up. So if I find out later on, especially from the funeral home or whatnot, because let's remember that they was strongly encouraging her to cremate the baby. They were strongly encouraging her to cremate the baby without an explanation as to why. And if I find out in that situation, we have problems. We have problems. I mean, the easy answer could be I'm suing, yes, but that doesn't bring back my child. You know what I mean? So I want everybody. I want the hospital. I want the nurses involved. I want the doctor involved. I want her license revoked. I want everyone to pay for the suffering that I'm going to have to heal from, because that's a traumatic experience. You go in with a baby and you come home with nothing, you know. So that's my thoughts.
What about you, Mona? What are your thoughts on that story?
Imagine being pregnant for 9 months, watching that baby, experiencing that baby grow and kick. And like Adrian and Nisha both said, you know, it's exciting, but it's also scary because they say women can expire trying to deliver a child. And it's the day your water broke and you get to the hospital 10 minutes later and you've been pushing for 3 hours.
Right. Yes.
And you and your child's father ask for a C-section and they tell you no. They just continue to tell you to push. Now, I read that the young lady had a condition called shoulder dystocia, where the child gets trapped in the pelvic area. It's rare. It doesn't happen, but had she been getting prenatal care, that lady would have knew about that. It's caused by diabetes and being too short. So you're laying on the delivery table, you're under the supposedly protection of a trained, certified doctor that's supposed to have your best interests at heart, and she's excessively pulling on my baby's head so much that, what did they say? The child's, let me find it. The child had multiple skull and facial bone fractures. Yes. The child was hemorrhaging on his neck, brain, and spinal cord. That was too much force.
Yes.
And if that baby is not descending, that also means that there's a dry canal.
Exactly.
It's not enough lubrication for the baby to slide on out. And you just wanted to do it your way.
Yes.
And so it said that the heart monitor was decreasing. So by the time that they did perform the C-section, there was no heart rate. The baby was already gone.
Yes. Yes.
Then they didn't get to see the baby for a few days. Then, like Nisha said, they wrapped that baby up and propped that head onto that body and wrapped it tightly. And let me see, what if that baby head would have fell off? Ooh. See, it's already a traumatic experience when your child comes into the world with complications. Okay, like my son, he was a preemie. He came home with a heart monitor and some more stuff. That's already disheartening.
Yeah.
But the fact that you knew my baby's head was decapitated and you rolled my baby up, here's your baby. Had that baby's head rolled out of that mother's arms.
Right.
All hell, if it was me,
right.
All hell would have broke loose.
Do you know how messed up she would have been? Oh.
Yeah, you already messed up.
Already.
But see, you thinking you holding a live freaking baby.
Exactly.
And I'm holding my baby in my arms. And I'm looking at the baby. The baby dead. I don't know. And then, like Nisha said, they discouraged them from getting an autopsy. They say, yeah, let's go ahead and cremate the baby.
Trying to cover up.
And then, I mean, this is trauma on top of trauma. I want to know what happened to my baby. That's why I say some good people out in the world. Some people say, I ain't going to help you do nothing. The funeral person told that young lady and that young man, your baby died because the baby's head was decapitated.
Mm-hmm.
Like Nisha said, everybody got to pay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And this was a Black doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And they say we don't get treated well by doctors outside of our race. And this is what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to come clean immediately. And you didn't. And the people that were in there, in the operating room, that didn't come clean either. Everybody tried to hide it.
Exactly. What's the ethical thing to do? You know, you got your
Right.
staff
There's an
there.
oath you
You're
take.
supposed to report that. You're supposed to say something.
Yep.
Speak up. Run out there and get the other
Yep.
doctor. Hey, she doing this, and this baby is dying.
Yep.
Where's your voice as a person, like you said, who has taken an oath in the medical field, that when you see something that's not going right and it's going to cost somebody's life,
Mm-hmm.
and you didn't speak up, oh no, you need to be held accountable as well.
Mm-hmm.
All of them, everybody in that room.
It was an emergency C-section.
Yes.
It should have automatically been a C-section.
Yes.
Once you see that baby is not cooperating, C-section.
Yep.
And they roll them ultrasound machines in there all the time during labor. Like,
Yep.
okay, you could have seen the shoulders ain't right, or you could see that she is not, like you said, it's a dry birth. She doesn't have any more amniotic fluid in there. You know, they just
know
failed
it.
that.
3 hours.
Mhm.
Only the head is there.
That's so crazy. And how much force do you think you can use on a baby's head?
And then they said the condition that they have usually happens for children over 8 pounds, but that baby was only 7 pounds. But, you know, diabetes may attribute it to it. Her being short may attribute it to it. So this lady, like I say, you're supposed to be the expert.
Yeah, exactly.
You're
You're
supposed
the
to shut it
professional.
down.
Yes.
Yes.
Because I just remember when I was in labor and they had me push for like 20 minutes. And I think I did, like, you know, we push, nothing. And they was like, and I started complaining. And I said, you know, every time I push, it hurts right here. And I pointed to like right up under my breast. And so my doctor stopped and she said, wait a minute. And she went and she got the little thing and was
Yeah.
rubbing up there. And she got up there and she said, okay, all right, y'all, we need to have an emergency C-section. Who's going? Let's go. Because my baby's foot was stuck in my rib.
Ooh.
That's why she never dropped. She was
She
stuck.
was still okay.
She was stuck. So
Mm.
we went and had an emergency C-section. I didn't push for 3 hours. I didn't push for hours at that. My doctor listened. She stopped and she was like, wait a minute, what'd you say? You know, and they literally went and got the little machine to see what was going on and listening to the heartbeat. And you're right. The heartbeat machine is right next to you.
Right.
Because
You can see
they
it, you can hear
monitoring
it all the
yep,
time.
they
all the
monitoring
time.
yours and they monitoring that
Right.
baby's.
Right.
So the fact that all of that was ignored and she had her pushing for hours is crazy to me. Very crazy to me. It just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't. Like, I don't know.
This is one of those things that you feel like it could have been, in so many ways, could have been prevented. As some of the other nursing staff spoke up, said something, listened to this lady. You know, why are you letting her go so long? And then that baby's head is out there, and then you start to pull on. They just messed up in so many areas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually acted like they was in the primitive. In the jungle somewhere, because like
exactly.
you, like Nisha say, that heart monitor is right there.
It's right there.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the one thing you hear the whole time.
Right. No fetal heart rate.
Yes.
And like Nisha said, they told me push.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, no FTR.
Mm-hmm.
What that mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
No F. What is it? Fetal heart.
Fetal
FH.
heart.
Fetal
what's
heart.
going on?
What is
Yeah.
that?
Right.
You know, oh shit.
Right.
You know. So yeah.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
It's so sad. I think now they are suing.
Yes.
They got attorneys, as they should. They should sue them. Oh my God, this needs to be an example to so many. You as a nurse, you as any kind of staff that might have been there that felt like something was going wrong. So yeah, I can see this going really far. Has anybody seen the doctor, the doctor who was
meaning has she made a statement?
Yeah, has she made a statement?
She hasn't made a
Yeah,
statement
I
yet.
didn't think so.
I don't think she
probably
will.
wouldn't be wise.
It wouldn't be wise.
It wouldn't be wise. Yes.
Just gonna get that attorney and
Right.
prepare for what's coming.
Yeah. I just read it. You know, I had heard the story and I just read it again today, and it just, oh my God, it just brings tears to your eyes, because it's like, you just feel for that couple. You know, here
Mhm.
they are expecting that by now the babies probably would have been about
2 months, 3 months old. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Doing all those things. You know how you're looking forward to the you know, those stages that they're supposed to be doing stuff,
Mhm.
and now you don't have that.
First child, first
Yeah,
boy.
exactly.
They named him Junior.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And you
So-
gotta go home and get rid of, all that the baby stuff, because you probably set up the baby
Oh,
room,
the room
and
is
the
already
clothes,
yeah.
and like all that. That's I can't imagine. I
Yeah.
cannot. I
My
cannot
heart goes
imagine.
out to that young couple. So, what would your final thoughts be?
I would say that when you because this is something that I did once I realized that I was with child. When you're with child, you want to make sure that you have a really good doctor that listens to you. You want to make sure that if you can't advocate for yourself, you have somebody else in there that can advocate for you. The moment that they said that doctor was not listening to them, I would have been like, nope, give me another doctor. You can stop. Give me another doctor. Like I think I would have pushed for that, because sometimes these doctors treat us as Black women differently,
Yes,
and
they
sometimes
do.
it being your own people too. But they treat us differently. They feel like we don't have pain. They don't want to listen to us when we issue complaints, and all these things. So be mindful of who you allow to be your doctor, and make sure you advocate for yourself and advocate. If you can't, have somebody else that's willing to step up and advocate for you. And I'm just trying to think, like, because I don't know what else they could have done differently. You know, I'm sure they probably felt like most people probably would feel like, oh, I have a Black doctor, so I know I'm gonna be treated, differently, and I'm gonna be treated better, and they gonna pay attention and hear, and you just don't expect this, So I guess I'm sure they'll have to get some therapy,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
my thoughts and prayers are with them. That's my thought.
I'm gonna have to agree with Nisha. Research your doctor. Make sure they specialize in childbirth. We try to find the doctors that specialize in breast implants and BBLs
True.
and hair weaves and all of that. Make sure your doctor specializes in childbirth, and maybe have that conversation. If some complications arrive, how quickly are you going to be able to switch reels? What are you going to do if this happens, or what happens, or that happens? Have a relationship with your doctor. See, a lot of young ladies, they don't even have doctors until they're 9 months, and they're about to deliver that child. I don't know if that lady knew that she had that condition or not. So have a relationship with your doctor. I don't know how sane I would be, to first know that my child passed, and second to know the manner in which my child passed and the cover up behind my child passing. Yes, I hope they get everything they need. I think they do need some therapy. I hope that they can stay together and have some more beautiful babies. That's my final thought.
Yeah, and and my final thoughts are, we feel like childbirth is such a routine. Like it's you trust the team that's there. They push out babies every day. Probably each hospital, maybe 50 to 100 kids a day, maybe. And you kind of get laxed in it because you're so wrapped up in the excitement. Be sure that you have done all your prenatal care, ask questions, write stuff down, and in your delivery room, have somebody there that, like Nisha was saying, that advocates for you, that speaks up. Hey, I hear the thing slowing down. What does that mean? You know what I mean? Like that's somebody that's in there that yes, you're all excited, but
Paying
pay
attention.
attention to everything because we get caught up in the excitement of it all, and you hear all the and you're not really because you're hearing it all the time. But you need somebody that's in there that's going to pay attention. I know me as a mother and watching two of my grandkids being born, I was asking questions, when it was time for the epidural, is this going to affect the baby? Questions like that. And I don't want to say it as though they did something wrong, because they didn't.
They
You were
didn't.
in there to bring a new life into the world, which is one of the most beautiful things in the world. So I just say, have somebody there to advocate for you. Go ahead, Mom.
I want to say this. Sometimes when we involve ourselves with our own people, we don't question enough.
Exactly.
We give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yes.
We want to go in there and it's another race, and we automatically think that they're the experts and they know, and we don't question them. Don't feel bad if you got to question them. I'm a new mother. I'm a first-time mother. I'm scared as hell. What would happen? Don't just think that because they have that license that they're really a doctor. They're really a PhD.
Right.
They're really a specialist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. So in closing, again, we just want to, our prayers and thoughts go out to that family, because that is a rough situation to deal with. My heart goes out to that mom, the father, the entire family. So keeping them in our prayers. And be sure to follow, share, subscribe, and make any comments. We appreciate that. And be sure to hit that notification bell so that you can find out every single time we post a new show. Thank you so much. BGP, we are out.